learning object today is to discuss some of the concerns and some of the difficulties that students with a hearing loss may have in the classroom. We'll start out with a basic discussion of the human ear and our familiar sounds audiogram. We'll talk about amplification devices, communication strategies and choices that families have, and then we'll look at some of the struggles such as homonyms and homophones, idioms, and multiple meaning words. We'll also look at how to add closed captions. Let's start with our basic anatomy of the human ear. Your inner ear, your middle ear, and your outer ear all play an important role in your ability to access language and your ability to acquire sounds. With hearing loss, you tend to have either a mixed loss, a conductive loss, or a sensory neural loss. A conductive loss tends to be in your outer ear, while a sensory neural loss tends to be in the cochlea, and which is in your inner ear. This is our audiogram of familiar sounds. As you can see on the right, you have your normal hearing loss, your mild, your moderate, your moderately severe, your severe, and your profound. You'll also notice that between 250 hertz and 550 hertz, and at 30 decibels, you do not have the letters Z and V, but you have the sounds Z and V. So someone who has a moderate hearing loss between those two frequencies of 250 hertz and 500 hertz is going to struggle to hear the Z, the V, and possibly even the D, and B sounds. And here we have our amplification devices. Our amplification devices tend to be a cochlear implant, which is used for children and adults who have a sensory neural loss in which the cochlea is not functioning properly. Cochlear implants involve a surgery in which a magnetic device is implanted in the head, and there's also an external device that is about 2 months after the surgery is magnetically attached to the outside of the head. If you click on either of the first two demonstrations of a cochlear implant, what it sounds like and what it looks like, the last two links simulate a hearing loss, with one of which is with the Flintstones, and you'll actually be able to see what a hearing loss looks like at different frequencies based on the audiogram of familiar sounds that we viewed a few moments ago. Now, click on the video and see if you can figure out what I actually said. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Okay, so what do you think you saw? What I actually said was the three phrases in the left-hand column. Cued speech is used by a very small portion of the deaf community, but it is used to assist deaf. If you click on this link, you will go to a website that addresses sign writing, which is not a legitimate language, but at one point it was believed that because ASL was an oral language, there needed to be a way of writing it down. So this was one development for that purpose. Now, let's look at some idioms in American Sign Language, and followed by some that are in English. Take a few seconds, look at it, see if you know what it means. At the end of each section, American Sign Language and English, I'll tell you what they really meant. First idiom, train go by sorry. What do you think that means? Short phone call, go. Finish, touch. Airplane, you hear? How'd you do? Did you get them? Sorry you missed it. Don't have a lot of time. Make it snappy. Been there, done that. Yeah, right. Now let's try for some English idioms. Do you recognize any of these? How'd you do? Did you recognize any of them? Did you let the cat out of the bag? Did you zip the lips? Have you hit a brick wall? Is it possibly raining cats and dogs? Is it written all over your face? Are you sitting on a fence or eating crow? All of these things are something that ESOL students and students with a hearing loss really struggle with because they tend to be very literal. And if you mention someone sitting on a fence in reference to the, say, redcoats, and you're talking about history, a lot of times the student will get very confused because they're not understanding what it is or why it is that someone will be sitting on a fence. And while they're trying to process why someone's sitting on a fence, you've already moved on to the next topic. So you need to take some time to pause and explain these things, which is not to say you shouldn't use them, but you are going to need to take some time to explain them. Now, on to something else that's a struggle. Homonyms, homophones, and multiple meaning words. What do these 6 pictures all have in common? In the English language, they all share the same word. In American Sign Language, each thing is 6 different items or 6 different signs. Do you know what it is? We have an airplane. We have a baseball player. We have a bug. We have time. We have a zipper. And we have an eagle. What do they have in common? They're all something about flying. A fly ball, a fly the bug, the colloquialism, a fly as in your zipper, an airplane flies, a bird flies, and sometimes time flies. What about these? This one's a little bit easier. You've got a colored square. You've got a sick individual. You've got a recycling bin. And the little mad individual at the bottom. What do you think they mean? Take a few seconds, pause if you need to, but this one's relatively easy. They're all green. You have the green square, you have green as in the little green guy at the top is sick, green is in recycling, or green is in green with envy. How about this one? You've got students in a classroom, you've got a graded paper, you've got hall passes, you've got a football player, and you've got a baton. I kind of just gave it away, but take a few seconds and see if you can figure out what it is. What do you think? It's pass. A football pass. The baton is being passed. The kids are passing notes. Someone passed and got an A. And then, of course, our hall passes. Now, on to those multiple meaning words. The English language is one of the most evil things in the world, and we acknowledge that when we talk about the fact that there are rules, and then there are exceptions to the rules, and then there are exceptions to the rules. If you look at the following 2 sentences, I drove down the windy road on a windy day, or I would like to read the red book that you read. Each of those sentences, although the words are either the same or sound the same, will confuse a lot of second language learners and students with a hearing loss because we told them that READ was read. What do you mean that it's now read?